When you buy a new piece of tech like a Dell XPS laptop, you're not just getting a device. You're really stepping into two completely different worlds. First, there's the official world, the one Dell carefully designs for you. And then there's the real world, the one that's discovered, debated, and documented by thousands of users online. In this explainer, we're going to dive right into that gap. All right, so picture this. You've just unboxed your shiny new laptop. You power it on, everything seems flawless. But is that perfect out-of-the-box experience the whole story? Are there things going on under the hood that you might want to know about? Let's start by looking at the experience Dell wants you to have. So let's start with Dell's side of the story. This is the official, curated journey they've laid out for you. It's designed to be as smooth and as simple as possible right from the moment you first lift the lid. From the very first time you boot it up, you're in Dell's hands. The setup process is totally guided. It holds your hand through connecting to Wi-Fi, signing into your accounts, and getting the system ready. The goal here is really simple: get you up and running with zero friction. And of course, it doesn't just stop at setup. Dell provides a whole suite of its own applications. You've got My Dell for general information, Support Assist to check on your hardware's health, Dell Update for drivers, and Dell Digital Delivery for any software you bought. I mean, on paper, it really looks like a complete ecosystem built to manage and maintain your machine. But then reality hits. You start actually using the laptop. You play some music, you connect to a few different Wi-Fi networks, and you might start to notice some quirks. And this is exactly where the official story starts to drift away from the real-world user experience. And this is a perfect example. A user on Reddit describes how the pre-installed audio software made everything, and I mean everything, sound like it was being played through a brick wall. Now, you're not going to find that warning in any setup guide. It's a frustrating, real-world problem that sends people scrambling online for answers. And that search for answers, it leads them straight into that second world of XPS ownership, the community. This is where frustrations are shared, problems get diagnosed, and some really brilliant user-made solutions are born. And this is where things get really interesting. Users have created their own super comprehensive guides that go way, way beyond what Dell offers. They're tackling the very issues that the official software suite just seems to overlook. I mean, just look at the scope of this stuff. We're not talking about one or two little tweaks here. These community guides cover the whole shebang, from completely ripping out problematic audio software to advanced performance tuning like undervolting, and even replacing Dell's own drivers with ones that come directly from the component manufacturers. And this really gets to the heart of the problem with that audio software, Waves Max Audio. The community has actually labeled it immutable bloatware. What a great term. Because even when you go into the app and try to turn it off, it's still processing and changing the sound. So for anyone who wants clean, accurate audio, this is a total nightmare. The only real fix, according to users, you've got to rip it out completely. But here's the twist. It's not always Dell versus the users. In fact, Dell itself provides one of the most powerful tools for an empowered owner you can imagine: incredibly detailed service manuals that show you exactly how to take your own laptop apart. And wow, this just shows you the level of detail we're talking about. This isn't some vague diagram. This is a full-on exploded view of the machine, identifying every single component, from the base cover all the way to the system board. Dell is basically handing you the blueprint to your own device. It's kind of amazing. And this is how you start to build confidence. Thinking about replacing your own battery? I mean, that sounds daunting, right? But Dell's manual breaks it down into these clear, simple steps. 8 screws for the cover, disconnect 1 cable, 5 more screws for the battery, and you're done. They completely demystify the hardware, empowering you to make your own repairs. So what happens when the community itself doesn't agree on a fix? Well, that brings us to one of the most contentious topics in the whole XPS world: the killer Wi-Fi card. So here's the issue in a nutshell. A whole bunch of users report that the killer Wi-Fi card that comes with the laptop is just unreliable, causing these super frustrating connection drops. This has sparked a huge debate. Is the hardware itself fundamentally flawed and needs to be replaced, or are the problems just driver-related and totally fixable? On one side of the argument, you have users who are absolutely convinced a replacement is non-negotiable. This person says you must factor in a card switch, guaranteed. For them, the performance right out of the box is just not reliable enough for day-to-day use. End of story. But then you get a response like this, calling that previous claim utter nonsense. And this person, who seems to be an IT pro managing dozens of these exact machines, reports that not a single one has had any wireless issues. It just goes to show how wildly varied the user experience can be with the exact same piece of hardware. So, where does all this leave you, the owner? Well, it actually leaves you in a really powerful position, able to draw from the best of both of these worlds, the official one and the community one. And this table really sums it all up. Dell provides the foundation, the official software, the drivers, and those amazing service manuals. And the community? It provides the optimization, the real-world fixes, the performance tweaks, and the honest-to-goodness debate on hardware. And this is the ultimate takeaway here. True mastery of your device isn't about rejecting the manufacturer or just blindly following online advice. It's about knowing when to use Dell's official tools and when to tap into the incredible collective wisdom of the user community. Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. In an era where our devices are more complex than ever, is it possible the real, most useful owner's manual isn't the one that comes in the box anymore? Maybe it's the living, breathing document being written and rewritten every single day by the very people who use it.